modern day masculine man, take one.
What makes a modern day masculine man? When you drink your liquor straight, a modern day masculine man. I pay all the bills and I tells my woman the truth. Got my shit together, do what I wanna do, say what I wanna say. I won't bend, I won't break, you are not me and I am not you. I kept it real, so now I can do what I wanna do. Modern masculine man. Welcome to Man School.
Welcome to the Modern Masculine Man Podcast, Mitch. Woo!
My baby hit that button right on time today, y'all. Let's get a yay if you can hear us loud and clear. Sometime they be messing with us on the volume, or sometime a cord can get crossed or whatnot. But let us get a yay if you can hear us.
Yeah.
Chris, say hi to the people. Tell them how your week been while I go to Facebook and share this.
I've been doing some great things this summer of enrichment that we have going on for Crystal, taking her to the YMCA to get some social interaction with other children, and Gigi's Playhouse. And that's a place where all children, young adults go for that have Down syndrome. And so we've been really having fun. Like, I'm really having fun.
Well, y'all know what time it is. This is that time in the segment where I give my sponsor a shout out. Spirit House Sage microbial properties, get rid of shit in the air, bacteria in the air. It just sets you right. It gets your mood right. Drop your eyes a little bit. Hey, but ain't nothing wrong with a little sage. Do I got a little dust on my shoulders? Go on, get your shoulders off. Go on, get your shoulders off. Yeah, wipe me off. But look, man, tonight we got a beautiful show. I forgot that quick. Miss Carla was supposed to be on here. Let me hit her up and make sure she got the link and everything.
Yeah, we can't.
Because we're doing our Soul Path tonight. So go ahead and talk to the people about Soul Path, what you think it is and all that while I call up Miss Carla.
Well, when Miss Carla did yours, I've heard of it before, and we into numbers, and I read the little horoscopes that come across, and they usually be on point. I like to read them at the end of the day so that I can know that I was not my decisions on my day was not made based on what I read. Again. So I'm into things like that, like, because I get it. In so much of my life, especially since I've been with Jay, has been me seeing the power of manifestation, stuff like that. I'm just excited to see how my numbers match up for this. Like, I'm very excited. So yeah, I know some people be scared of stuff like this. I was thinking, what if it says something that I'm not expecting, and then that's when I'll be like, I ain't got to live.
I'm gonna invite you live.
I've never seen these things like match up. Even one time we had a show when people typed they defined their name, like typed it into Google and wanted the definition, and their name that was given to them by their parents, someone other than themselves, described who they were, and people was bugging out, like, how could they know? Like, if you Google Christina, was like exactly what Christina would be, right? And so it's like, I don't know why how is that matching up like that? I don't know what that is, but I surely believe that I ain't scared to hear it and test it out.
Well, I'm gonna say this before we get started. I know there's some psychology, some physiology, some biology. It's a lot of things to why people look at their horoscope every day and why it seems like that stuff is real.
Right.
It's a lot that have to do with patterns of the universe. So every culture has it. You know, the Chinese New Year, the Chinese zodiac, Mesopotamia, the Persians. Every culture has some form of astronomy. You know, astronomy is the study of the stars, and the stars has patterns. And those patterns, the simplest thing we know is the Big Dipper. It comes around in different times of the year. It's, you know, facing a certain direction. They can predict the times that it would flood, the Nile would flood. They could predict the times when it was time to plant, when it's time to harvest. They could look at the stars and see if it was going to rain, all that stuff. So there's something that has to do with the stars and the cosmics and the celestial beings and humans. We just don't know. And so when something has been passed down to us, we could say, oh, I believe everything in it because my grandma said it. Or we could say, man, fuck that shit. I don't know nothing about that shit. You see what I'm saying? That's just up to you. So I've always been the type of person that I would look at my zodiac, Sagittarius, and whatever it said about me seemed like it matched up.
That's what I'm saying. It seemed like it always matched for me.
I never looked. I don't give a fuck about your zodiac because I'm gonna cut your ass off in my life regardless if you fuck up.
But look, as women, we always, you know, you look at yours, then you look at the dudes who you like and see if y'all like on the same wavelength and stuff like that. And so I haven't had to do that concerning us because we're the same, you know, sign, but we already knew from the beginning.
But they could have said that the same signs don't link or something. I ain't looking at none of that.
Well, that's
shit.
what it did say. So I'm interested because Sagittarius, from what I heard, was one of those things that are really one of those things where couples really pull, but those things that make them pull are the things that make them tear apart also.
But before you get too much into that, I'm juxtaposing that to let her explain that this is not that.
Yeah, well, you asked me what did I feel about it.
But I didn't want you to get too far into that.
All right, cool.
I'm juxtaposing the two things to show that the shit that we already been vibing with, astronomy. I'm saying astronomy is a real science. You get it? I'm trying to break down to the people why I fuck with this shit because people not used to me fucking with no shit like this. So I'm trying to get people to understand astronomy is a real science. The moon, the stars, all that shit line up and patterns. We see that. Now, astrology is a pseudoscience made up from that, which is turning to all that zodiac shit. This is similar, but it's not that. However, this shit lines up perfectly like that or even better. So now I'm going to let her explain what it is before we get into it. And it's called the living soul.
Okay. Hey, Miss Carla.
Yes.
Miss Carla.
Hello, can everybody hear me okay? Hi, Chris. Finally get to meet you.
No. Look,
I feel like I know you already.
This how real the show is. You know what I'm saying? That I've trusted the leadership of Javon to link with you and be on board without needing to know any, you know, a whole bunch of background. So, you know, I mean, he always filled me in, but this is our like initial first.
I know. I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. I'm like so high, like on a high.
And this spiritual house sage, shout out to my peoples. I'm looking for that monetary contract soon.
Absolutely. You don't want to forget that part. Absolutely. So listen, everybody, welcome. So I'm Coach Carla Nicole. I am so excited because I feel like I already know Chris. And so this is kind of unique because I feel like it's exciting, but it's really, it's been kind of unique because Javon is not even someone that's pro into stuff like this. So this is what's been so funny about it. It's like he actually vibes with it. Okay, I appreciate that. But what's so unique is we actually did a reading on him first. So for those of you who are not aware, we actually did a reading on Javon. So Javon had his living soul reading actually done. And in his reading, he really got moved because he realized that there was a lot to the living soul that isn't really what you call, real trendy and stuff like that. This is more about how we can actually take what we learn about our archetypes and we can actually apply what we learn through understanding through our actual living soul numbers. And so let me just give you a little bit of understanding of what it is. So our living soul comprised of 4 archetypes. So we have a moon archetype, we have a sun archetype, an earth archetype, and an entire living soul archetype. And each number is determined from our actual birth date. Okay. So this is how we decide what we are and how our um, actual living soul is really moved and navigating on earth while we're here. Everyone knows that anybody that knows us from as far as we've even got started, we have been trying to tell people how important it is to know their purpose, right? And we understand that a lot of people are kind of not sure, or they kind of are curious, but not really nose deep in it. So when we don't really know our purpose, actually learning about our living soul archetypes helps us to understand our actual um, different actual gifts. So each of our archetypes actually gives us a clue as to why we're even here and what we're here to do. So this has been kind of fun because we're able to learn a lot about ourselves, but a lot of times we're spending more time trying to learn about a man. And Chris can, I'm sure he can attest to that. Before we really wanted to learn about our purpose, we were more concerned about what man we're going to get with and how much we love him and all this other stuff. And we lose sight on really educating ourselves about our own personal living soul.
Yeah.
And
And
so this is what it is.
I want to say this about it too. It's
Okay.
so much more umbrella, purposeful,
Yes.
uh, understanding than a wake up trivial every day. Let me see
Yes.
what it say about me today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
Right.
you'll spend so much time on that. Let me see what my horoscope say. Let me see
Right.
what it say about me today, as opposed to giving your living soul read and leaving saying, wow, I know my purpose, and this is why I've been like this my whole life. This is why I've moved like this. So
Right.
that's the thing I like about it. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, we have learned a lot about you,
let me ask
and
you
it's
this. Let me
it's
ask you
been
this.
powerful.
Since the show is more about Chris, could you do Chris first so we can make sure we get hers done fully, and then try to save time for
I was
Crystal?
going to do that anyway. I was going to talk to you about that anyway. I don't want to. I don't want to not get all of Crystal's. Also, I want to really make sure we don't lack in any way. So I want to make sure everybody gets what they need. So
So I'm
I'm
gonna sit
glad you
back
brought that up. But
and
I knew, I said, watch he say something to me because he's going to be like, this is a lot in such a small window of time. But I knew you would probably work with me. And I knew you would be like, well, let's just not lose sight on what we really want to make sure we focus on for Chris.
all right, so I'm gonna sit back and be quiet and just listen at this point.
No, I'm so glad. But I did want to explain that earlier, and I think Chris, I think we talked about this, but you do have a moon archetype, you have a sun archetype, you also have an earth archetype, and then you have an entire living soul archetype. So you have like a whole entrepreneur of information, but all outside of that, you have a lot of intriguing information that I don't want to lose sight on. It's powerful. So bear with me while I'm trying to grab this. Um, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, up there.
All right. So now let's go
I'm so excited. I'm so
Ah,
excited.
and you just can't
And I
hide it.
just can't hide it.
Mm,
No, 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 no. I don't have to lose control and I think I like it.
you want to, you want to. Is she froze up?
Yeah, she's so. Tonight,
Trav froze
tonight.
up on me last night.
Oh
Miss Carla, are you
no.
froze up? Let me remove her and bring her back.
Da, 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 da,
Bring her
da,
back.
da, 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 da. It's the devil. Get back saying it's gonna be so
I
good.
know. Yeah, look, listen, that's how it always be when you got a situation like this. It's the devil. It's the computer. And you know what? I'm a compare it to some real shit that I know people that's watching gonna be able to understand. Growing up when we would be in church or we was trying to do something or make something happen, a moment like this, something would always mess up.
Mm.
It's like we would be getting ready to have a cookout, and you know what I'm saying, the microphone been working all day. DJ, let's go, DJ, let's go. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, when it's time to say the grace, they would be like, all right, we're gonna get grandma up here to say the grace. And then they get grandma the mic and she'd be like, giving honor to, and the mic would go out, and then people would be like, bless her heart, it's the devil, it's the devil. So we finna get some good information,
Yeah.
and she then went out and froze up.
Yeah.
It's the motherfucking devil. I'm telling
Okay, so let me ask you this, Chris. I had asked you this before I froze up. Tell me, is there anything in particular that you are kind of curious about your soul that you would like to that you've always kind of had a curiosity about, but never really questioned, I guess? Is there something in your spirit or soul that you're kind of curious about that you want me to talk about? If you can think of while I'm pulling up the numbers for you.
I mean, I really want to see if it match up to exactly what I'm doing because I feel like I'm really moving in what I'm feeling drawn to. And sometimes I feel like, whose life is we living? Like, am I the one pulling everybody to me, or is he pulling it? Because to me, like everything that's in my life, I understand why it's there. So I want to know that.
Right,
And then by me really liking to be the person who is helping him,
right.
to be sure that how drawn I feel to doing that. Like if I wasn't married to him, I would still want to be a person that helped him with his what he's trying to do. So just making sure that I'm still on the path of it because now I'm doing so much, as a mother, being working and all that other stuff that sometimes it feels like I'm doing a whole bunch. So
see how the devil did again.
I
She went out again. Now
yeah.
this has never did this. You sit here, you watch this thing. We're hooked up to Wi-Fi. Not Wi-Fi. We're actually hooked up to the Ethernet cables. So I know
Stop
it
me
ain't.
today. They are really trying to stop me
Miss
today.
Carla, I don't think you paid your phone bill. I think Sprint or AT&T fucking with you, saying that you better leave it
You,
send us this goddamn
you know, I'm like, listen, we don't have time for this.
Let me have one more thing too, Miss Carla. Like every
Sure.
time I watch I have a talk, you explain things that I feel that maybe I cannot explain. You get what I'm saying? Like I understand that with women we be on our shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm used to being on that shit. Like it's my, I feel like it's my personality. Part of that shit is mixed in. And
Right.
so as I keep saying I'm growing and find myself maybe revisiting things that I want to grow out of, but feeling like this just might be me. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, though,
Right.
there's so many times you do that. So I will be interested to know where I sit when with those so that we both can know, like, is this me being on my shit? Is this just who I am and I'm really fighting? I'm staying in my place. You know what I'm saying? And how is that working without
Well,
pull?
let me just tell you this so that you don't get too boxed in. Because I know with your personality, and after I did some research on understanding you, not studying you to try to, coach you or anything like that, but coming from a space of sisterhood and caring about you, I understand that you can get easily set in a definition. And so I just want you to just kind of remove yourself from the definitions and just kind of flow with me.
Okay.
This way, you're not feeling like, oh, this is what I am. It's like, no, because once you feel that, you're going to feel like, oh, yes, that's it. But what's so funny is you and I share in a lot of things. In other words, you are a three, and so am I. You and I both share in that. So we both kind of have, we are what you call promoters, soul promoters. And so we really like to encourage other people, and then we're protectors. So we're both, we both have these things, but we're not exactly alike, but we do share in that way of being. And so, because of that, I know that you want to make sure that when you are navigating in life while you're here, you want to make sure that you're at your highest pristine, actual, I think your highest perspective or at your highest version of self, because you don't want to be a slacker. So, of course, because of that, you're very big about making sure you are pristine on what you're doing. So, I just wanted to tell you, just before we get started into deep diving into it, yes, you are someone that really is big about creating and being really at your highest self. However, don't get so hard on yourself. Learn to flow, because that's one of our challenges, is that you and I will share in that. We'll get so hell bent on thinking one way and being determined and really wanting to be 110% supportive, and then we want to be, excellent in what we're doing, that we will get so hell bound that we'll get sometimes a little bit beside ourselves. So, yes, you're right. We will get on our shit, and that is true. But let's just not get so hell bent on that, and let's just kind of relax on it for a minute and learn about it, so that you don't get so into definitions. Because we do have you and I share in that. So we do have a tendency to want to make sure definitions are clear, and it's fine, but sometimes we can just go overboard.
Yeah, I get you.
Does that help? Does that make you okay?
Okay.
Yeah, we can just it's just a part of our personality. It's just who we are. But I just wanted to share with you, no, it's not something to feel bad about. It's just really something that we are, and you and I share in that. So that's something that you and I definitely want to take a look at. Okay, so now let's take a look at your living soul. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. I'm excited. Okay, so now when we look here, we see right here that let's take a look at this real fast.
Your camera's going out, just so you know. The devil.
I know, like,
right when she said, let's go, her camera went out. So let's see what's happening with Miss Carla and her phone bill tonight. I told her she better pay that damn living bill. Miss Carla, can you hear us? We can't even hear her no more, can we? Miss Carla. Jonathan Coley says, I want mine. This sounds interesting. I'm curious. It is definitely very interesting, Coley. I had mine done, so I'm gonna link you up, Miss Carla. Miss Carla gonna give her your information. But man, I definitely had mine done, and it really confirmed some things, but it also taught me some things. So anybody that's watching, I 100% stand behind this because I got my wife up here getting hers done, and I got my daughter's done. So Miss Carla, go ahead. You keep popping out.
But just
I know, but I want to make sure that I get this because I don't want to miss. This is very important for me. I want to make sure that we're looking. Did you guys see on the comments? Are you able to see on the comments in the chat section where I'm talking about what we have here? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Okay.
Okay, yeah, we can hear you and see you well, but we
Okay,
can't
good.
see a comment you made.
Okay, so here I have. This is what I want. I want to make sure that we can see, because I don't want to mess this part up. Okay.
So you're trying to make a comment for people to see?
Yeah, I got it. Did you see it on the chat? So if we look here.
Okay, you put it in the private chat. Do you want people to see it? Do you want people?
Yeah, you can. You if it's up to Christina if she wants to have this shown. This is hers personally, but I wanted her to see it if she's okay with that first.
You can go ahead.
Okay.
Just reading it.
Okay, because
so
she's reading it anyway. Let me put it in the chat real quick.
Okay, so I want to just tell you that you have you are a creative genius, Christina. I don't know if you're aware of that or not.
I think
your moon, your sun, and your earth are all an archetype 3. So you are a creative thinker, which makes you rare. You're rare because you have a triple creative, powerful, imaginative, symbolic intelligence. That's a lot. But I just want you to know this so that so it doesn't feel weird for you. I just want you to kind of get it because this is very important for you. You are very creative. Okay? Now, check this out. In your, what I'm showing here is that you have 0 out of 4 water and you have 1 earth out of 4. So this means that your brilliance lacks emotional depth and you have a tendency to get grounded with your follow through at times. But I want you to understand that that's because you have a 0 out of 4 in your water. That's your elements. So this is why if you feel at times like, man, I just feel like my emotions aren't really strong, that's why. Because your elements are low in water.
Now let me tell you what's funny real quick. I had read it, right? And when I was looking through it, I thought it was crystal because you think you put Chris with a K.
Oh.
Okay. And so when I read it though, I said, that's me. So we talked about it and we was like, oh, that's crystal, it's a K. But I was it felt like me like when I read it and I was like, wow, we are a lot alike. So that is crazy.
That's you. Yes, it's you. So, because you have, like I said, 0 out of 4 waters, I want you to understand that just because we are born a gender does not necessarily mean that we automatically are going to be solid in emotion or solid in understanding feelings just because we're women. Sometimes we're just our makeup is different because of the day we were born and how we come into being. So sometimes because we're so, I would say, headstrong about our gender that we get so caught up in thinking, well, since I'm a woman, I'm automatically emotional. And that's not always the case. And as we see with you, Mm-mm. You are, you don't have a lot of water. And so because you don't, that is the reason why you are not really strong with your emotional depth. Okay. But don't freak out. This is just a part of your elements. We're just going over this really briefly so you understand
Mhm.
why some of the reasons why you probably through your life have felt, man, I feel like this, but I can't really talk about it because it's not really a feminine thing.
Mhm.
Because you come more from logic than you would from feelings. Does that make sense?
Um, kind of just like, well, I understand. I used to always say I understand people, so I don't get really upset about things. Like this is the most emotion I'll probably give to anything he and I, and
Right.
how that affects our relationship.
Also, you can find yourself sometimes disconnected. So I want you to just think back on even when you were young, where you felt like, man, I just don't feel as connected to certain feelings, or you're not automatic because you're a woman, automatically going to just feel like a certain way because of emotion. You have a unique makeup. So, because of that, you are stronger with understanding. And like you just mentioned, you learned through, I believe, through learning and being more patient with other people that has helped you actually learn to be more solid in your emotional depth with
I think
you.
I see it in a good way because when I do that, it makes people take advantage of me, like as if it's a weakness because
Right.
I understand something, So then at that point, I just act like I understand.
Now,
You,
check this out. You also think in color. Okay, so what this means is you have a tendency to see in color versus getting so caught up in seeing in black and white. Like a lot of, if you hear from men, a lot of men see things in black and white, but you have a tendency to see in color, which because you have that ability, you're able to describe your feelings without having to actually feel a depth of the feelings, but you're able to express them, which helps people to understand you better. So this is why people are finding themselves more drawn to your being because you have a way to express yourself without being intrusive or um, disruptive to other people's feelings. And a lot of people don't have that. They don't have those. They just don't have that ability where you do. And because I'm looking here, you're a creative thinker, so you're able to speak on being a certain way without having to get too caught up in, oh, I need to speak this way or speak that way, but you are able to describe it.
Mhm.
And because of that, you're able to build more solid relationships. Have you noticed in your past relationships, familial, relational, and I would even say even friends, have you noticed that people are able to not have as many misunderstandings with you because you're able to express yourself well?
um, I mean, I don't have a lot of disagreements with people. However, I look at that more about because I don't really say all the way what's on my
Hmm.
mind.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. I had to think about that.
If I may
What you think?
interject, as a person that's sitting here listening, and I don't know if you're mesmerized or if you just, but everything so far is kind of like I wrote down a couple of things just because I want to make sure the people get it and understand it. Promoter, You got some you got called a manifestation
I
station.
agree with all of them. Just
No. Listen, but you didn't say that. You didn't say, yeah, I am a promoter. Chris got this. Look, let me tell y'all how much of a promoter she is. Chris has an idea. She wants to start a hotline called a manifestation station.
Yeah.
But let me help you. Let me explain. It's called a manifestation station where people call her and tell her, I want to do this. And her job, they pay her to just encourage them to say, yeah, you can do that. And I'll be like, Chris, do you fucking think somebody going to do that? And she really believes that people will pay. That's what I'm saying, how this lines up.
55. Okay. That's my first 30 minutes.
Another thing she said, you're very logical. You're actually like a man. Have you noticed women always say you are like a man in the sense that you're a logical thinker? How my friends come over and they always asking you questions. And it's like people feel like you identify with men more, but a lot of people think that's because you agreeing with me, but you're not really agreeing with me. That's the thing I liked about her when I met her. All the shit that regular women be just fucking stupid over. She never was like that, but she's still a woman and I'm a man. So we have our things, but that women nag. Think about this. You and me have an open relationship. You a woman that says, shit, I don't give a fuck what my man do long as he come home. You know what I'm saying? And that's how men are like, shit, I ain't thinking about what my bitch do. You know what I'm saying? So there's a certain thing that she's saying. So what I'm saying to you, like I said, I don't know if you mesmerized or not, or if you think you're
looking at it through that scope.
But let me just finish. I don't know if you mesmerized or you just listening. I'm saying, engage, interact with her. Okay. You're just sitting here listening, like,
I thought we was trying to get it mostly out so that we don't.
No. You have to interact with her. That's what I'm saying. If you don't interact, first of all, if you don't interact, people don't truly understand it. And it's boring. So interact, please.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm sitting here watching this shit now.
Well, and also let me say something to you also, Javon, that you mentioned. There is a part of Christina's numbers that also kind of holds her away from being okay with her engagement because of her emotions as well. So that's a part of what you're sharing. You actually help to bring that out of her. So your actual relationship is one of the empowering things that she needs for her to be able to solidify her grounding in her emotion. So when you actually said that actually helped to bring her aware. But again, she wouldn't have known that without you saying something.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So that was awesome.
Right.
I got it. I understand.
Okay, now here's what I wanted to share also. You can sometimes be submissive without being self-assertive. So here's what's so powerful. You have 4 out of 4 submissive energy in your profile. So 4 out of 4 submissive energy means that you are someone that is able to work with others well. However, being assertive is one of your setbacks or one of the things that you struggle with.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday on the show, about me not being assertive and him wanting me to speak up for myself more. And I was just like, well, part of why I'm so understanding with him, I'm just that type of person. And so though people may respond, and I just said that a little while ago, like, I think people take advantage of how I am as a person, as if I don't understand what's happening. And I do.
Now, what men do, sit back and say, I see that. They know you ain't that stupid.
Say that again, Javon. I'm sorry, because I think my earbud went out.
The way
Say that
she
again.
explained that the male quality of the gender, like I realized, say for example, when we did mine, there was so
Yes.
many feminine qualities to mine that
Yes.
a motherfucker looking at it would be like, damn, he feminine. No, it's part of your masculine. We all have some
Right.
masculine and some feminine.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
the fact that you're so sharp, everybody know you sharp. But if you submit, like she said, 4 out of 4 of assertion. Notice I
Yes.
said on the podcast, don't be weak.
Yeah.
Right.
4 out of 4 assertion submission mean you'll submit just because without asserting yourself. But that's really the male in you saying, you know what, I just go along with this shit before I have some bullshit. Because if you confront your friends, your mother, your brother, your sister, or cousin, and say
Right.
what you really feel, they gonna get mad and you're gonna have to cut their ass off. So really what it is
Right.
you're saying it like a man. Look, I'ma just leave you alone about this shit. So it really lines up. I want to address something, Miss Carla, real quick so you can see what I'm saying, and we're going to move real forward. This guy said, never thought I'd see my big homie doing a psychic hotline. That's exactly the dumb shit a stupid motherfucker come in and say. And I like this guy and then flew to Chicago and met him. Don't come in at the last minute saying stupid shit. Because if you support me, sit back and listen, motherfucker. Before you get it, because me and you got a personal relationship, so I'm talking to you personal, nigga. I'd whoop your motherfucking ass if I was at your house or you was at my house, because we know each other personally. Sit back and listen and understand what the fuck going on. This ain't no motherfucking psychic hotline, nigga. If you'd have been here in the fucking beginning, you'd understand what it is. So I'm not even gonna respond to your comments no more. But I just wanted to put that out there because there are other people watching this. So this nigga pop up saying some stupid shit. Have some more class, motherfucker. I'd whoop your motherfucking ass in person. And you know me. And you know we know each other. Okay?
And you know what else I was thinking
brother,
too?
I just had to admonish you for saying some dumb shit.
You know what I was thinking too? I want to make sure that this is something that I love bringing up because I think this is very important. Being souls, living souls, it really helps us to get rid of being so caught up in the gender of who's attracted to us. Remember, if you can remember when we did yours, Javon, I mentioned to you that men are attracted to you.
Yeah,
Not saying in a sexual way. I'm saying they're attracted to your living soul, to your being, to who you are.
Yeah.
Remember, I said that you have a large being. So when you walk into a place, yes, you are 6'6" or whatever as far as height and stature. However, your soul is huge. And remember, I mentioned to you that people attract to you because of that. With Chris, it's the same thing. So, Chris, you maybe find yourself where women are attracted to you because of your psychological awareness and your ability to be more willing to work with someone else outside of who, you're not. Here's what's true. We have a tendency to really lose sight on the fact that people that are willing to work with others are very attractive human beings. But we don't talk a lot about it. We don't talk about how attractive it is that people are willing to work with others that are different than them. For instance,
that's like me working with special needs and stuff.
Doing bears and bubbles, showing
it right out of my mouth. Yes. So it's not something that every human being or living soul can do. However, those that can and those who have the ability to I would say be very willing to work with special need children or special need people, you'll notice that they have a more understanding of self, of their soul. you also have this. So this is the reason why I was telling you earlier. This is one of the reasons why you have a triple creative, powerful, imaginative, symbolic intelligence. And this, my love, is one of the reasons why you are a triple threat when it comes to attraction. It's not just based off of, you being who you are, but also the fact that you have an awareness of self. You have the ability to actually describe and be very crystal clear and grounded in who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy to do this when you're talking about being created around special needs.
And let me interject this real quick to tell a quick story that really makes this hit home. When
Okay.
I met Chris at church. Chris actually liked one of my homeboys.
Mm-hmm.
I was attracted to her because she worked with the youth, was very active with the youth at church. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
she was attracted to one of my homeboys, and she had said something to me like, yo, mention me to him. And I was like, cool, so I mentioned him to her. He was like, man, she ain't fine to me. She got a nice body, but she ain't fine. She like a 4 or 5. And I was like, and I told her what he said. And then the funny thing is, soon as I started talking to her, he started liking her, tried to holler. It wasn't that what it was. He couldn't see. I saw the helpful person in her. I saw the creative genius in her. So that's why when people will say, who's the catch of our relationship, women tend to say or try to say, he's too handsome for her, or she's not pretty enough for him. I think my wife is beautiful, first of all, as far as beauty.
I don't know where they're getting that from, but that's dumb.
Because let me finish. That's women. They that's just women. You see what I'm saying? But I think my wife is beautiful, first of all. But my homeboys, friends, my family that's been around here, they see what you're saying about her soul path.
Yes.
And it's so funny how I laugh and I be like, people can't see the beauty that another person see because if they ain't in tune with themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to throw that out there.
If I could add, the reason why this is not offensive to me, like when people do say that, number one, they're judging me based on him, on how attractive they think he is. I've never had anybody like be so like vocal about that. Like they just feel like, I mean, he's what we would consider tall, dark, and handsome. So maybe they feel like he can get whatever the other thing is, right? I don't know. I'm just saying. So again, that goes back to who I am. I get it, right? And so I be okay with that. But through my dating experience, I have always had guys that said, Dad, I didn't think I was gonna like you like that, or you different. I just can't put my hand on it. And like certain things like that. Would you rather, somebody's asked me, would I rather be pretty or sexy? I just understood that what that meant. And so I said sexy because I know I'm not going to be the American standard of beauty. However, I've never looked at that and said I wanted to be that. I'm fine with being what that thing is. And that's why in our open relationship, the value that other men have in me is the understanding that I provide. And I've learned how to be all the way well-rounded because Javon has taught me what men are looking for, not looking for. And I wouldn't be out of pocket with no man, right? And so they get a chance to get from me what they do not get in relationships, which is understanding and that ability for me to take what me and him know, laws of attraction, how to manifest and stuff, and describe that in my way that is colorful to them.
Yes.
And because everybody's cognitive level is not able to like get down there deep. And I don't have all of the skill that Javon has to get the right stuff to get him to climb out, right? And so,
if I can also interject as well, I think a lot of times people assume that just because we look a certain way or whatever, what they don't know is you complement each other. on different variations, not just off of physical looks. And what most people don't understand is when you are a actual sexual match, it's not always based upon just looks. Sometimes someone's personality can pull someone's looks to a different variation. What I mean by that is when someone looks at you being with Javon, they're not thinking, oh, he picked him an ugly one. That's not what people think. They're like, I can see why he's with her.
Yeah, you
Again,
know, it's
this is
funny.
why. Say that again.
I'm sorry, it's funny. So you know, for the brothers that are watching, as we teach you about man school and Carla coaching and having charm and charisma and learning how to have swagger. That's something we talking about promoting our swag academy.
Yes.
Chris, so the men could understand. I'm that guy that's like this. Chris is the girl. Everybody guy can relate to this, and every girl can relate to this. Chris is the girl in the group. They got the nice body, and she's more playful and fun.
Right.
And the other girls are trying their best to look like what the world says is beauty. And as the guys walk up and choose, they're gonna look at her and her first. But then after we start talking, they're gonna say, damn, I wish I would have talked to her. She got the fattest ass anyway, and she the fucking funnest. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're gonna say. And I could see that. I was like, okay, this is the one. Her body impeccable, like that's nothing. But I was like, shit, I'm used to bodies. But I was like, yo, this is the funnest one. This is the coolest one. This is the most understanding one. So guys would understand and girls would understand.
And if we look at her moon, if we look at her moon, if we look at her sun, and we look at her earth, all three of them, if we look at the numbers, we see all three of them, she is a 3. That is a soul promoter on all three. Now her living soul is a 9. So she's a logical thinker, which is a masculine neutral. Again, when I'm saying masculine or feminine, don't get so caught up in the gender explanation of it, because we're not getting so super crazy over just the gender. Understand that, yes, she is very big about promotion. However, she is a protector also. So her and I sharing that. Her living soul is a protective woman.
So being in a relationship with Javon and him being so the head, right?
Yes.
Very much of a choice for me to understand what is necessary for a great relationship, right? And and when people call acquiescing, or it seemed like, I just know we've always been able to talk it through, and I understood that it's not things of like giving in, or like people just think I'm just up under him. Like I understand exactly where he's coming from, and understand what's necessary for me to get what I want. I want him. Like I want my life with him. So I want to do what I should do.
Now y'all watch this on live, and I don't mean to interject, but it's some things I'm interjecting because I've had my soul read, and I don't want people to think this is astronomy and astrology. This is confirmation. This is not future predicting.
Right,
so I just want people to understand you've been living your life. This is confirmation and purposeful. This is not predicting your fucking future. Now watch this live on. She said you're a protector, right?
Yes.
Live on TV. When I first met you, what I told you here for? If you can remember.
What I'm here for.
What are you to me?
Your protector.
No, you're just saying that because that's what she said. I know you're doing. Now let me give you a hint. We first met. We was watching Bob Marley.
I'm your Rita Marley.
And what did she do for Bob?
I don't know the word. I don't.
Think about it real quick, because I want you to get it. I want you to get it.
Okay.
What does she do for Bob? What's her purpose in his life?
She's his home. I don't know.
No. You don't remember.
I don't.
Now watch when I said this was gonna be feel funny because you're gonna feel funny on live that you don't remember it. Mm-hmm. I told you your job is to watch over my soul.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
See what I mean? Mm-hmm. Didn't I tell you that? See, I knew what I was picking. I told her your job is to watch over my soul. Mm-hmm. Now peep this. How was I able to predict that and say we talking about a soul shit right now? I don't even remember the fucking call. Soul path, soul life. You see what I'm saying? The information is so good. I don't give a fuck what this book is coming from. I told you your job is to wash over my soul. I wish like hell you would have got that online, but it's all right. But you remember that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, maybe it's the thing where we don't talk about it in that way because I look at it as.
I think you had a little say tonight.
I mean,
we was on the.
Can I also interject something that I noticed, and I actually said something to my partner yesterday about. I said yesterday. I said, guess what? I said, one thing that I love about Christina, I said, she is someone that says something powerful. She said that she's the one that handles the money. So if a woman wants to get some money from you, Javon, they have to go through Christina.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a part of protection.
Yes, and let me say what's so powerful about that, how sharp this woman is. That's why you just said that. If a woman got to get some money, I got to go ask my wife for money to take a bitch out if I was going to take a bitch out. And that protects me from a woman wanting to, because I say, look, a woman say to me, let's go out, let's get a hotel, let's do anything. You know what I said? My wife handle all the money, and one thing she ain't gonna let me do is spend no money on no outside bitch. So you paying for everything. It protects my finances. It protects me from ever getting caught up in a scandal. I ain't got no money to buy no pussy. I can't do none with a bitch. And guess what? I ain't even know that until you said that. How you say that? Like I have to go to my woman and say, hey, look, send me $60, send me $50, send me $100. What you doing? Boy, I just met a bitch. I'm about to get a hotel, baby. I'm about to have some fun. Now that don't happen, but the point I'm making is see how this shit is confirmation to what's going on. It's not no predictive shit.
What's so funny is, and so when somebody wants to meet me and they don't believe you, I'm like, if they out and there's any money exchange, I know that they out. Like, I'm gonna make sure your haircut. Like, I'm so a part of.
and watch this. It's so protective too because you will never catch me in no motherfucking scandal. Because any bitch I meet, I got a wife, and if you gonna fuck with me, you gonna have to meet her. And what do they all do when they meet you?
They'll give me a gift.
They bring her a gift. See, this is what I'm saying. People don't get shit in line. If a woman want to deal with me, they got to meet my wife and give her a fucking gift. So guess what you never going to do? Expose me. Oh, he was fucking me. He did this. Okay, well, what? Show it. I got a big dick. What you going to do? You can't never expose. That's how she's watching over my soul in so many ways. You can't scandal me. You can't say, I'm going to tell your wife. Can't no news reporter or no man. You can't besmirch my character like they did Martin Luther King. She protects me. You see what I'm saying? Coretta protected Martin in certain ways by just keeping her mouth shut. But now that Martin is gone and all he did for black people, what's the only thing they can say? He had some bitches. He had some bitches. He had some bitches. You can never destroy my character because my woman protects me because she's like a dude. We can be honest with each other. That shit crazy. I ain't mean to take over right there, but
the powerful thing about what you said though to her initially was you need her to watch over you.
Yeah, my soul, not watch over me. I said you watch over my soul. And the reason I said it because it was a situation where Rita Marley said that she would have to come get Bob out of other women's rooms and get him to rehearsal and do shit. And the they asked her why she did that for Bob. Why did she love Bob so much? She said, it's bigger than Bob Marley. She said, God sent Bob Marley here to do something great. And Rita Marley said, I'm here to watch over his soul. I looked at her. I said, that's why I picked you. I'm going to be a great motherfucker. But what did I tell you when I met you too?
I'm going to be greater than you.
So the person who watches over a great person's soul is so much greater. Yes. And as you see, as this shit grow, what we doing, you see Chris gonna be a more powerful voice than me, because don't nobody want to hear no straight black man say shit any motherfucking way.
And when you said about my ability to talk to people in a non-intrusive way, yes. I think that, like, say for example with Jay, I think the reason why people push back is because he gonna speak his truth. He speak it right then. He go bottom line, and people get cut for a minute, and then they got to work themselves back through it. Where maybe because and under my ability to do that, when I'm telling somebody something, I am coming at it from a different perspective. Like I'll be the one right there next to, you tell somebody something and they feeling, I'm like,
and she'll buffer it. What he means is, you know what I'm saying? I was gonna say we'll do Crystal another night, or we can do her like this without people watching. I definitely want her to finish your shit because there's some other parts to okay. So let me let her know. Carla, let me know let you know this. We're gonna finish Chris tonight, and we'll do Crystal privately or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Nobody fucking know her. You know what I'm saying? But the point of the matter is we want to finish her shit because it's I want her to get the full blah blah blah. So we got about 40 more minutes. What about 30 more minutes?
Good. So that's awesome. No, because I just it's a lot, but outside of it, it's going to be one of the best parts about Christina's is that we're able to really look here at what she to build. A lot of times we don't realize how much we're learning about our soul when we're getting a reading done. We don't realize how much we learn so much in such a small amount of time. Remember, you learned a lot about your feminine energy.
Yeah, and I embrace it. I accept it. Yeah, so much. That shit didn't feel gay, no nothing to me, because I understand masculine and feminine, positive and negative, yin yang is about energy at times, and then we call it feminine and masculine, just man and woman. It's the difference in the actual term of it. And so I get it. I ain't because you notice you've always say I feel like a dude. When I met her, she was like, "What's up, son?" I was like, "Yo, don't talk to me like you know fucking nigga." But we was cool, but I liked it.
And I was like, "Nah, you be a lady." But like even with you, when I heard the feminine, I was like, "Okay, I get it." I've been around. I understand the energy that he exudes. So, I can see why it matches just on the opposite end of it. Like
you guys are a perfect alignment. That's the best way I could describe your actual connection. I don't like to just call it marital bond because that's that's kind of sounding cute. But I'm talking about your actual connection with each other, like your actual alignment. It's powerful because you both are already in alignment. But in Javon's feminine, you're masculine with your logistics and your understanding math and good in handling the bills is what actually helped to catapult you two into a different level of solidity and intimacy. Which and that's a whole nother level of protection. Because a lot of people don't realize that when you're in a relationship with a handsome man, I can speak on this because I know when you're in a relationship with a handsome man, women are going to come for him in his pockets always because they want to spend time and all this other stuff. You already have an understanding of, okay, I'm going to handle the money. Nobody saw that coming. but you do it so good. It actually helps to keep you buoyant in your love affair, and it gives a different layer of intimacy. Plus, it actually helps to protect. And
Hmm.
let me also say that because we are protectors, we are soul protectors. You and I are, because we have that as a part of our being, our living soul being. Check this out. We're humanitarians. Say what you want, but you can't, no matter who knows us, they're going to say, actually, there's someone that they're humanitarians. They're people that care about other people
Everybody. Yep. Yep.
every time.
Yep. Yeah, that looks crazy. But yep, that's exactly if you ask, that's what I love people like feeding up. We fed the homeless. Next to you know,
Every
homeless.
Wednesday and
They
Saturday.
See?
people, homeless people started washing up in the shop. I had clothes up there
Yep.
for them to come and change into. People had mail sent there. You know, if they needed a food stamp card and they needed a address. You know, my
See?
coworkers used to be like, "Oh my goodness!" Like my partners, they like, "What are you doing?" But I mean,
Yep.
that's just who I. That's just who I am.
So because you're a humanitarian, as far as your living soul, Chris, it's a whole different level. Because not only that, you have a baby that is special needs.
Hmm.
You do realize that my grandson is special needs. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah, I did. I heard you say that. Hmm.
Okay, yeah. So it's just a part of who we are.
Yeah.
But outside of that, because we have that side to us where we care a lot, we also know how to be particular about who we let in. So some people might not find our softness to be very enjoyable because we're kind of particular.
Hmm.
We do have a side to us where we're like, just not everybody can come in.
Yeah, like why? Like people, I've had people get upset because I don't want to hang out with them or I don't want to, talk to them at work. Like, come over here. I'm like, no, I'm good. Not trying to be standoffish, but like,
Yep.
especially because I've been around male conversation to get with women and they are talking about the things that they talk about, and to have to be the person, even though I like explaining, but then
Hmm.
for them to male bash or just the
Right.
thinking, then you have to work your way through that. I don't enjoy that.
Again, this is again a lot of times we can talk about this stuff, but a lot of people won't understand it because they automatically assume because we have that humanitarian side, caring side to us that we're not particular,
Hey
Hmm.
but
Carla,
we are.
let me say something real quick, and this is just personally as a man, some shit that I had to deal with. It's I would if I met a woman I was really interested in, I would introduce her to Chris. She bring her gift, we hang out, and then
Right.
the woman like want to hang out with Chris. I'm like, my wife don't want to hang out with you. She just met you. She don't
Right.
want to fucking hang out with you. You my chick, and they would be like, "Well, what Chris doing?" And what I be
Yeah.
like, Chris don't want. It's not that she don't like you. She just met you to vibe with you, but
Right.
she don't want to hang out with you. I promise you.
Well,
Yeah.
because we're particular, and I don't think people understand that about us. We
And they
we
would get
because we're
mad at me. Like, all
Well,
right.
yeah, because you're the nice. Yeah, if we put you two up against each other,
Yeah.
they would say, "Well, Javon's the nicer one. He's going to be the one we can go to and talk to, and he's going to
That's
say, yeah." That's But Chris is going to be like, "No, I don't really want to do all that
I
tonight."
mean, I just don't after that part. I just feel like I don't have anything to do with that, and
Right,
so, and I'm saying go have fun, and they don't
right.
believe that I'm really saying,
No,
go
But the
have
same
fun.
way, like she said, I attract men. Look what my thing said. Welcome to man school. You
Hmm.
got
yes,
the total woman school. So
yes,
they be
Yeah.
really wanting to pick your brain.
Yeah.
They be wanting to understand, how are you this cool with this? How are you this happy? You know what I'm saying? How did they be wanting to hang out with you? Like, oh, shit, you sing, you do all this, So they really be wanting to be cool with her, and I be wanting them to be cool because I be like, shit, this could be a cool thing. But And I just
Well,
feel like she don't want to hang out with you. I promise you.
which I know a fact, especially with us being poly and what that makeup looks like.
Right.
So I think I want to, because of me maybe not being assertive, like Miss Carla said, I don't want to wind up in situations that I can't disconnect from, and then have, like we've had in the past, somebody had to say, well, Chris, it feel like this now, and it kind of caused a little, and she had an issue with that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be in a lot of situations, like that. So it's best for that. However, if you wanted to have a sister conversation with me, sisterhood about things, and I'm thinking I'm turning into Coach Chris, then that's different. But if you want to be like, just go hang out at the mall, I do not want to do that. Or when I'm ready to go to bed, I don't want to have to stay up.
Yeah, some of my friends will call her and ask for advice, and literally, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, this bitch asking my wife advice about her new friend. But I be, everything don't last forever. Nobody's never mad at me, and I'm never mad at nobody. She's never mad at me. Truth erases all the anger and sadness. And if you mad after you get told the truth, I hope you die. Fuck you. You see what I'm saying? I'm the type of person, if I told you the truth, and I was honest in everything, and I know my heart is clear, I don't give a fuck if you die tomorrow. Anybody. Family, cousin, anybody. If I ain't did nothing to you and you got a reason to have a gripe with me, I hope you fucking die. I hope you die. I don't care, because I know I'm always going to be honest and truthful. I ain't misleading nobody. I ain't doing nothing wrong. So if you got something to say against me, I hope you fucking die.
Now, avoiding confrontation, I want to tell you this too, Chris, is a part of your low water score also.
The zero.
So remember you have a low water score. Your water element's low. So because of that, you have a low confrontation score. So you're not someone that wants to be all up in people's face and confronting and stuff. That's just not your vibe. You don't like all that. Me, on the other hand, I can confront, no problem. We can go ahead and handle that. But for you, you're more like, I ain't got that to do.
I don't like that though, and it's something that, especially as I am, looking at my purpose and what I want to do with a career, and knowing that I know sometimes, like, if you're a stranger, I can, in a sense, better, but once I know you, I have to interact with you again, then that's when that becomes a problem. And I just feel like it's connected to my next steps, and I'm not where I want to be concerned. That I understand, because the biggest thing for me is I understand that when I don't do that, I'm putting somebody above me in my own, and giving them the opportunity to shift my alignment.
So and they will.
Your weakness.
And they will.
And the cool thing about this, like you said, this is not a psychic prediction.
Yeah.
This is confirmation showing you in the past, but it's a living soul path. It's showing you, it's clearly saying to you, hey, your lack of confrontation can affect your future.
Yeah.
So it's something that you have to get better at. There were things in my living soul that I was like, oh shit, this is not something. Yeah, this is me. Yeah, I should do this. It's shit that I learned. I was like, God damn, I need to ship up in this. If I don't tighten up in this, I ain't gonna make this happen. If I don't get this together, I'm not gonna have the future that I dreamed of.
Right.
So this is not some, hey, pat on the back, you've been doing everything right type shit. You see what I'm saying? This is, hey, get this shit together too.
Well, it also helps me because Chris and I share a lot of our numbers. I actually have a daughter that has told me that I'm a confrontation type of person. She's like, Mom, you confront. Like, you have no problem with confrontation. And I don't. But I've also been trying to be a little more, I would say, aware of that, because I don't want to come off as, you just want to start it either. I want to make sure that if I am confronting something, it's for us to repair it, restore it, or get a new vibe to it. And that's really my number one thing if I am going to confront.
It's funny because my best friend, she was saying she don't remember me being like this.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't see me as a person who don't like, or maybe I don't argue with people, so I don't know. Like if I tell her about a situation where we was kids, and I'm like, I wasn't scared, like I was just talking. And she like, what? I don't feel like I never got that from you. So either I've masked it, or as I've gotten older, I began to care more about what other people feel based on how maybe I feel, based on how I feel about things, like how I maybe not getting enough critique
Right.
throughout
Well,
because I only really do stuff that I think I'm good at.
well, let's talk about you for a second. You have a tendency to do self inventories without a problem. So you do an inventory of self. You like to look inside self. You like to evaluate. A lot of times, because you have that about you, a lot of people don't have the ability. So a lot of times, if you can think back on your own personal experiences, have you noticed that some people don't really have that ability where, we might look at ourselves and be like, yeah, I need to work on this, or there's some things I need to think about, or there's some things and then you can get with other people and they have no concept at all about what they need to work on. Have you ever been around someone
Yeah,
where you've been like,
I have had people tell me a lot, you being too hard on yourself. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm trying to work this through,
right,
uh, I've been victimized before, like, and I've been raped before. And
okay,
so the way I've handled that is the fact that I understood that I'm not saying that's what I get, but I understand that you can pull things to you. I can explain it better, but
yeah,
if it happened to me, I'm like, well, I got up on stage every night with my fucking girl outfits on. I called them fucking girl outfits. They was little, you know what I'm saying? I was revealing. I
right,
did poetry. They were seductive. I got men to buy me drinks afterwards. I flirted. I did all of that. I would get up through the weekend, be Friday, Saturday, some Sundays, and be like, I want to drive a motherfucker crazy. Like I said that.
okay,
You know what I'm saying? And then it
yeah,
happened. And, I think it's fucked up. I'm like, damn, what happened to him to make him think, what did I say? Or what happened to him that made him think he couldn't walk up to me and ask for it? You know?
right, right, right.
Like, dang, you wanted it that bad. But what I'm saying is that, and so people wanted me to be more upset about that. And I was. I was
Right.
things that changed me, and being aware and stuff like that. But that's I was just giving an example of
But
people
can
not.
I say, can I also interject that a lot of people stay in that victimhood way too long?
Yeah.
They never upgrade out of it. So
Mm-hmm,
they stay rooted in that for a long time to the point where they become, and Javon will tell you I've brought this up. They will stay in asexuality, and then they come into this look down their nose at other people and become judgmental, and they get really aloof, and then they're like, "Oh, you're gross to be sexy," and all this other stuff, to
mm-hmm,
where it can actually turn a person into a madness, to where they're now against being sexy or sensual,
mm-hmm,
And let me
because
add
they
this.
stay rooted in the sexual, I would say, crime way too long.
Let me add this is about accountability. And that's why I think Chris's woman's school going to help out with accountability. Uh, I say all the time to women, and this is a message to my sisters, real talk. And it's not a sensitive subject, because when she told me she got raped and she told me how, I said, well, goddamn, I don't look at that as such a bad thing. That's just the time you got fucked by force. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? You didn't
Yeah.
fuck somebody before you met me. So I said, well, how it happened? I'm
Right.
like, well, goddamn, that's how you get raped. So what I'm saying to women is, Sisters, when you go out at night, how you dress, how you carry yourself, where you go, and what time you leave determines a lot of shit. Now, women will say some dumb shit. This is for my sisters. Women say dumb shit like, just because I'm out at 3 o'clock on the wrong side of town in a fucking dress, walking into my apartment by myself, don't mean nobody should have done nothing to me. That's true.
Right.
But guess what? We can't do. I need to tell the women to behave a certain way because I can't say, hey, all rapists and perverts, volunteer for my class so I can teach you how not to rape and pervert.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's
Exactly.
what I love about my wife, the level of accountability. I saw this like, damn, you got raped, you ain't fucked up in the head. When she explained it to me, I was like, oh, you ain't fucked up in the head. I could chill with you, you know, because you're accountable for your part in this situation. She ain't make herself get raped, but you damn sure had a part in it.
But look, all while being in a relationship, having a boyfriend on the phone outside the house all day talking to a guy about to go see another guy, and another guy is the one who winded up to console me through. And look how many people were involved that day. You know what I'm saying? So it's so filled with sex and lust and anything that align, like, could zap into the wrong person. Like, it's exuding off me. Not just understood that. And as I've learned laws of attraction and how we, pull things to us, I understand that. And when I understand it, And going back to Javon and people don't think we be understanding. Like, I'm like, you don't understand. Like, I am in it to win it. So what are you talking about?
It's like a motherfucker. You can look at a motherfucker and tell you gonna get your motherfucking head blown off, dog, by the way you living. And then somebody say, such and such got their motherfucking head blown off. You say, yeah, I knew that motherfucker was gonna get his head blown off. Because I have had people ask me, how could you date a woman that got assaulted? I ain't gonna keep saying the R word. I think YouTube motherfucking David, they don't like that word. That got assaulted. And it's like, how I look at it is in saying like, well, if you can understand and you can be accountable, I don't see a person being fucked up in the head. It's like so many niggas go to prison and sit in there and cry, and then some niggas go to prison and do their time and get out and get their life together. They like, man, I was out here selling dope. I was being a hard head. I got what I deserve. You know what I'm saying? And they move forward. The ones that can never move forward is the ones still saying the white man did this in my community, and I ain't had this, and I ain't had that, and I ain't had this, and I ain't had that. So that's what I'm saying about this. I don't even know what the fuck to call it. Soul path. I keep forgetting what it is, but it's called.
Living soul.
Yeah, this living soul situation. Even that situation right there, are you talking about what happened to you? It's indicative of confirmation and moving forward. Now my wife don't walk around dressing stupid or trying to be sexy and look at me. Wait.
But when you say that, when I understand. There's a difference between nakedness and being sexy. The sexy that I
you look sexy now
to always be in the first place, that was misunderstood by trying to be my version of Little Kim at times, right? So, but I also understand the power in what I think about myself. And how that won't draw certain things. See, so much about that is not even what I had on; it's what I was saying. Dress. So I was looking to drive a motherfucker crazy. So crazy that he came. That could have been me saying that also with a sweatsuit. But however, I get what you're saying as far as women. We don't want to be accountable to what we wear, right? And how someone perceives us. Now that I dress for how I feel, which is I feel good, so it's coming out different. And you show me what class, like, you just put me in those right directions to be like, oh, this some other fashion I hadn't thought about from another era or another this, that.
And another thing, because we talking about self-accountability and moving forward, it's just like I had a homeboy that's all he love is light-skinned girls. He a black motherfucker. And every time he get one, they drag his ass through the mud. And I said, man, that's your fault. or a woman that every guy she get, like we're gonna talk about our swag academy, because I really like that. A woman that only go to hookah bars and clubs and meet men on Friday and Saturday night, and then she talking about, oh man, this bitch, men go hunting on Friday and Saturday. We get our fucking haircut, we put on cologne, and we go hunting for hoes on Friday and Saturday night at the club. So that's your fault. You keep meeting fucking Tyrone.
Right. And again, I want to say this because I know I know that Chris made a huge point, but I see so many, because I do coaching. I'm just coming from a space of just what I see. A lot of times when people have been in a victim state or have been in a situation, they end up adopting that particular victimhood. And then they never think about, where am I going after this? So they stay rooted and settled in that victimhood, for the point of people will stay in celibacy way too long. They'll stay, I'm not going to be sexual again, ever again. It's like, where do you come up with this stuff? How long are you going? And I'll ask someone, well, how long is your celibacy? How long are you going to be asexual? How long are you going to not be intimate again because you had a horrible experience? Can we come out of this to where you can be okay again, to where you can be intimate again? And I'm telling you, it has been a struggle for me to get women out of that.
You did the air. I mean, the couple of it's one more, right? That you got to kick.
Yes.
Move for. I'm sorry. It's so interesting, but move forward because time was. To you again. Yeah, y'all can talk. Y'all can talk off the phone.
No, we're good.
I know I'm gonna think about some things and be like,
no, of course. Let me get this this next one now. I don't want to go off the line, but
let me go get the private chat because you had sent some in the private chat. And just side note, Miss Carla, won't I like a 4 at everything if I remember? Oh, look, she did go offline. She said she didn't want to. That's something I want to go back. And that ain't my ego. I'm just trying to remember. I think I was like a motherfucking 4 at every goddamn thing. You was? Yeah, I thought I was. So that means if I'm a 4 at everything, I would be a loving, caring, sensitive motherfucker that cares about people and an ass-kicking motherfucker that can get shit done. I would be that. Miss Carla, wasn't I a 4 at everything? I'm just trying to remember.
Weren't you a what?
A 4 at all my shit.
Yes, you were a 4. You were a 4.
So I'm all 4s. You see how you had that 0 in emotional lacking? I had a 4 in that motherfucker.
And remember,
I hope you die if you try to disperse my character. I know exactly how I feel. I don't give a fuck if you die.
So funny. Oh my God. I don't know what I'm going to do with you.
But I do.
But that might be what's happening. Just side note, when if the music, you know what I'm saying? Is some of what we discussed with that.
Yeah.
But go ahead. All right.
You know, we got a whole discussion to have. We're going to have to get us a spiritual sage, and we're going to laugh about this shit and cry and everything.
Yeah. Okay. So now also, you are so funny. Oh my God. Okay. So now I want to look at, we went to 0 out of 4 dominant. You don't have any dominant energy.
I'm just not, at least like, I don't know.
Are you aware that you have 0 dominant?
I'm not surprised. I mean,
you got 0 dominant and 4 in submissive though, so it line up perfect.
4 submissive, yes. So the deep part about that is that, remember we talked about how you were saying you don't feel. I think that's why you're able to be more.
More what?
You're more willing to work with others.
Mm-hmm.
Manifestation station. I agree with you. Yeah, everything you want. Yeah, I'm sure.
Why not? That's how
I
you
think
I
that is
like it. I
hilarious.
like it.
I think it's
I'm the one
hilarious that
saying,
you want to
Chris,
do
I
that.
don't think nobody gonna pay you for no shit like that.
That's
But she been saying yes, they are, and I believe they are now. Like
Well,
who
I
this
do because,
motherfucker
and
said
the
you can
reason
do
why
it?
I'm saying it's in alignment for Chris is because of her androgynous and submissive. So she's a creative thinker. So remember, her Earth, her her Earth, her Moon, and her Sun is all the three, which means that she is a creative unit. So she's able to do this. Now, when you're asking me, can she do the manifestation station? Absolutely.
I believe it.
And
I
matter
believe
of
it. I
fact,
believe it.
we can even look at what date would be best for her. So, in other words, to make sure that the numbers are in alignment with her actual manifestation of getting her manifested energy to be in alignment. So it's even more. We can make it even more detailed
Well, look, check
versus
this
just,
out.
oh yeah, it's great, you can do that. No, we can do it to where it's ageless. Let's do it on, like, we'll just say let's do it in fall.
Check this out. Y'all can keep going. I got to go pack my lunch for work real quick.
Okay.
Y'all can keep going as long as I want to. Shit,
okay.
I
Well,
don't care.
cool. Chris is asleep. Okay.
Crystal sleep, is the
Yeah.
baby sleep?
She's asleep.
Okay, that's her heart.
And everybody thought that was crazy, and I was like, they're not gonna do that. But this is the thing: when I ran for student body president, I was the bridge. That was my thing between the faculty and the students because I'm as old as most of my professors. Between them, so I'm always like saying I'm the interceder. Like I'm somebody is thinking on on your behalf. When I'm meeting people, I'm like connecting. Oh yeah, I know somebody that need that, and I'm like that with the kids, which is a detriment in a sense to their growth, I guess, because they're boys. So,
Right.
I've been advised that sometimes I'm doing too much concerning that, but I am the manifestation station. And when when I'm talking to them, I want them to speak these things into existence for themselves. I understand, how important that is and how much people don't get that encouragement. And then where they going to get it so young. So I'm the person that's always trying to help connect the dots, which makes them lean on me. And
Wow.
yeah, so
Okay,
that's place.
so how do you feel now? I know you love money. You know you love to handle the money, so you're probably really have a good relationship with numbers.
Well, when you said that, I was like, what? But I was like, well, maybe it's not about the numbers. It's more about me seeing in color and not the depth. So once you get
Mm.
to reading word problems, like me understand the steps that is
Yes.
taken for mathematical equations, I might forget the steps, right? And so
Right.
I'm back in school now and or actually needing to teach students the foundational things about numbers. I'm understanding what I thought I didn't understand. That really is about more of a comprehension type of thing and how
Wow.
I'm understanding what I'm reading. You get what I'm saying? More than just the
Yes.
fact. And so I don't know how. Yeah, that's
So basically, you have a you have a good relationship. You're just saying that you don't always know you don't always necessarily know the steps.
I'm saying I thought I had a terrible relationship. And then when you said that, and I thought about, well, I do handle money. I'm not scared of numbers when it comes to me handling money. So then in that quick, in that self, how you say, I start to evaluate myself. I thought to myself, well, why am I so scared of it, but I'm not as others? Then so that quick, I was like, I think that's more about remembering the steps. That's more about reading these problems, and look what I'm gauging it on, something academic, but I've been successful with my credit and having the house, and and just balancing budgeting and stuff like that. I've always been successful when it comes to those type of things and making the right decisions as it relates and understanding how that comes together. So I need to give myself more credit about that. I need to hear that. Really, really needed to hear that. So one of the things though, when you say I didn't think about this at first, and hopefully it'll make me, this could make me understand it. I often don't feel like I remember enough things, like from my childhood, like really detailed. And I don't know if that's because, oh, Jay, it went out. What do I do? Do the link need to be shared again?
Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, get her there. Okay.
No, I was going to tell you, I'm thinking that
it is such the devil. What up, Trey Pro? Thank you, wonders of a Pisces moon. While we waiting for Miss Carla to come back in, I thank you for joining in with us while Miss Carla gives me a living soul reading. This is not anything psychic. This is not about the future. This is her taking your birthday and computing it and telling you things that you should already know about yourself, and it's lining up. She's done one for Javon in the past, and she's doing. She you said when she pop up, she had just popped up and then went back up.
If she pop up, it'll pop up down here. Then you got to press add to stage.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Yeah. And so I don't know. It just makes me feel good to hear the things that I'm hearing, because after a while, when you hear so many people like you just going by, okay.
Feel like.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Okay. Okay.
Do
you feel like sometimes that you live in the now? Do you live in yesterday, or do you live in tomorrow? In your lifetime, how do you feel like you live?
I think right now I feel like I live more in the past.
Okay.
As it relates to how I see our relationship, right? And but then I usually feel like I don't. But anything before that, I don't remember a lot of, like I would like to. So I think that it's a little bit of everything, in the sense of saying, like, I'm always trying to think about my next steps and who I want to become. And I'm so excited because I understand that these things come true. Like, I just got to tell it what I wanted to do. And but then I get in moments where I don't know what I want to tell it. And maybe because I'm self-analyzing, I'm like, is this the step? Is this the shift? But what if it's not? And then I think about that too much. But then I understand. Sometimes I say, well, let me just live in the now, because there have been times that I've not had to ask no questions. I see an email. It's about going to Ghana. And by the end of the day, I done sent I'm going to Ghana. I started it like that. I didn't even ask him. I knew I was going. As soon as I read it, I knew. So in those moments in my now, I trust it. And I really don't think about a lot too much of my past outside of how it relates to me and Javon, honestly. And maybe because that's the most depth of emotion. And maybe you can let me know this. Maybe that's why I don't remember as much as I would like, because I don't let it be meaningful enough to store it, in a sense. Or like, if something hurts me, before I let it make me crazy. I understand your heart get broken. I understood that people cheated. I
Right.
understood that people was gonna not be friends anymore. And
Right.
when I have wanted to maintain relationships, I have done whatever I needed, which it meaning in a submissive way, I say
Right.
what I need to do. I'm the one that's going to do what's best to keep everything together. And when I don't do that, people was like, what do you mean? I can't believe Chris didn't call. I can't
Right.
believe Chris ain't gonna be the one to say I'm sorry first just to make it, you know what I'm saying, stuff
Make
like
it
that.
right. Right. Well, the reason why I asked you if you live in the yesterday, today, or in tomorrow is because that helps me to tell you what your memory is going to look like.
Okay.
Because our memory is based upon where we live.
Hmm.
So, for instance, if you're here with me right now, you're here with me right now. So, you won't have to have a remembrance of this.
Hmm.
Make sense?
Hmm.
However, you want remembrance of it so that you can go back and be like,
Yeah.
oh, I remember this and she did mention this, and you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, one of the powerful things about sharpening memory, it has to be from us being more current and in the now.
Okay.
How we develop our now and how we develop our being more present is
Hmm.
from pinching self.
Pinching
And
self.
yes. So,
Okay.
what I mean by that is, say, for instance, you're just going through your day and
Hmm.
you're like, I don't really even know if I'm really here
I
for
re-
real. I feel like I'm just
yeah.
I'm kind of like a little bit here, but not really. Hint,
Hmm.
hint, hint.
Okay.
And then be like, am I current? Am I up close and personal with right now? Am I here right now? Or am I in yesterday or tomorrow? And then once you get out of the memory of yesterday, or if you're in the future of tomorrow, you'll start to be like, okay, let me get more current.
Okay.
And then you'll start to build your muscle memory of now.
Okay. I get what you're
And this
saying.
is how you do it. You do it through pinching.
So let me tell you what's so funny, and he don't know this, so this is gonna be something I say live for the first time. When I have a tendency again to wander during the conversation, and like you gotta talk to me sometimes in little short, because I'll forget,
Right.
again, because I'm wandering. And
Right.
so when we have conversations, maybe the last 5 years or something like that, while we're talking, I pinch on myself when
Good.
I'm saying I want to stay in the conversation. It lets me know that I am staying in the conversation in
Yeah.
order for me to remember. First of all, am I being emotional? Like it's just, I don't know, like in my own self check. So when you said that, I'm like, oh wow.
Yep. You're building muscle memory is what we
Yeah.
call that. So when
Okay.
we build muscle memory, we start to sharpen being more current.
Mm-hmm.
What's so deep, Chris, is that once you become so current,
Mm-hmm.
other people that are present and living in the now can feel you.
Okay.
Not just a part of you, but feel your whole essence of being in the present. And it's
Mm.
hard to describe,
I
but
think I did it though.
does that make sense?
Yeah, because say for example, if I'm talking to you, right, but still in my head, I'm talking to you through the scope of
Yes,
I've been or who I want to become, then I'm
yes,
not thinking about the interaction that's happening, which
right,
means that vibrationally somebody could feel like I'm not all the way. It could be misread as I'm not all the way in it, which is not a misread if I'm not totally,
right.
you know what I'm saying? So I can
Yes.
understand that.
And you're wanting to develop because love making's better, parenting's better,
Hmm.
wifing's better,
Hmm.
friendships better, being a daughter's better, we love better when we're current.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm loving on my daughter, as an example, she's 26. If I'm loving on her currently right now, in the now, she can feel that different than me loving on her, talking about her when she was 3.
Yeah, I get
Like,
what
Mom, I'm not 3 anymore. You can let that go or whatever,
you. Mm-hmm.
but you're my baby, you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? So
yeah,
she's like, I get it, Mom, but that's not the current version of love I want to feel from you, as
yeah.
an example.
I definitely get it.
You see what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I think that one of the powerful things of us building muscle memory is being current.
Mm-hmm.
And we develop that through pinching, being more aware of, am I here? Am I
Mm-hmm.
really here, or am I trying to be something else? Or
Yeah,
what am I up to?
yeah.
Like what am I really trying to do? I don't know if this is what I'm really trying to do or what,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll find ourselves more out of the muscle memory and more into, well, I'm really here. I'm
Mm-hmm.
current.
Mm-hmm.
And it really helps to drive us into a better solidity in our solid wholeness, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. I love it.
It'll make it all come 360 by
Right.
doing that, because if I feel like I can't go back and remember what's happening,
Right.
number one, then those things that I say I want to grow and learn from those experiences, I can't really go back and access them because I was in and out of them in the first in the first place.
Right. 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 Right.
And again, when you want somebody to feel your heart, like in it, like, I want you to know that I care, I want you this, and they like, yeah, but something is a little off, and I don't want anybody to get the opportunity to read that because there's so much that I like to give. So if it's
Yeah.
just a part of staying grounded in the moment of what's happening, and not link it to something that happened the last time, or say, here I am in the middle of this and I know that it's connected to my future. If I don't, then now I'm over there and now I'm not really thinking about what's all
You're
the
not
way.
current. Yep. You're not current.
Hey, Coley.
You're not in your current self. That's
Yeah.
that's the challenge. But I will tell you this, what's also dope about it is you'll start to realize that your experience that you are actually having, um in love, in care, in liking someone, you'll start to realize, like, I'm feeling more present, and so my enjoyment of it is a different level now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I'm not liking it from a wish of what I wish I was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm liking it from where I am.
You know what I think? I feel that as a teacher because I have to be present with each one of them, and I have to uh, write. You know, have to take data for it, and so
Yeah.
especially if I'm not actively always able to write it down right then, I have to really take a picture of what it is. I have to really know because I'm gonna have to go back and write these notes about what happened and how. And so when it comes to my students, I can really tell you the ins and outs of them because I
Right.
have to be there. So I could see how you could say that.
And it really helps you to upgrade your version of self.
I
So
could see.
now you're not feeling like, oh, I'm just half-assing who I am
Mm-hmm.
just to show up. But
Yeah.
I'm really 110% who I am, and I'm okay in the version of self I am, and now I can experience it. And
Mm-hmm.
now I don't feel like I'm half-assing it because I'm actually experiencing it and loving every moment of it.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome. Now there was a couple of notes I wrote, that I don't want to forget because I know these are going to be powerful.
Oh, that's fine. Look, I don't have to go to work, so
Okay.
yeah.
So it says you have 0 out of 4 absence of feminine energy, but it says that you're emotionally disconnected or you avoid vulnerability. Now,
Yeah.
here's what's deep. You have a difficulty accessing your intuition or your inner reflection.
I have a difficulty accessing.
Accessing your intuition or your inner reflection. And you may overvalue logic and external validation. I wrote these notes last night.
Mm-hmm. I
I
could
didn't want to forget those. Those were major for me.
no.
I wanted to share with you.
I think that we had this thing where I'd be like, I'm blind, right? And people have said I was blind, and
Mhm.
like Chrissy from Three's Company,
Okay.
stuff like that. And so, or I've not been a good student, throughout since elementary school. Like to me, it's been a struggle for various reasons, or just not cared enough about it. And
Right.
so it's like I want to be smarter. I want to be smarter. I want to be smarter. So now as I've been in school and I'm learning and stuff, and learning from Jay, it's like I want to be so logical, right? That
Yes.
I think that the parts that we have as women that we feel our way through, I think I'm pushing that to the all the way to the side because of my own personal desire to be more, I don't know, like I don't know if I want to say more analytical, just keep saying smart. I don't know, because it's me always assessing myself. Do I think I'm there yet? Do I think I'm there yet? Which
Well, I think you
allows me to
probably,
question.
if I can just interject, I think I like to validate how you are, but I also feel like there's a part of you that gets you overcompensated. So a lot of times you're not really enjoying the version of who you are because you're like, well, really, I should be better than I am.
Yeah.
So it's always a part of you where you're kind of like, well, I mean, I'm good, but I could be doing this, 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 and this. So
Hmm.
you never give yourself 110% credit. That's what I'm saying.
It's funny that you say
And I
that.
wanted to point that out because that's in my notes and I
Okay.
don't want to forget that part.
Okay, I didn't see that like that when you said. So I guess that would be like with all the growth that I have had,
Yes.
I often don't see myself no different than just still a hairdresser. And I'm not even saying that that was bad because I
Right.
was a business owner. What I'm
Right.
saying is that, so when you say that, I guess because if I'm almost like if I'm doing great things but canceling it out by where I think I'm falling short at, yeah, I need to take this, I need to do this, this needs to come. I'm just barely made the deadline, but I made it, you
Right.
know, and
Yes.
so, and not giving myself the um, the kudos for, but you got it done.
You
So I
got
don't
it.
think I gave
Yes.
myself enough kudos
No.
about having it done. And even when, like, if Jay's like, you do so good with Crystal, and I'm just so happy about it. And I'm like, yeah, but I could do, stuff like that. So, just really, how I look at it, like, when as a woman, somebody say, I like your outfit, and you like this whole thing.
Right. And that's exactly what I pull up.
Okay.
But it's not to beat up on you. It's just for you to bring this is what I tell my nephew and I'm telling him the same as you is that I like to like telling you so that you can actually sit back and be like, "Oh, I can build awareness from my understanding of self."
Mm-hmm.
So I know that you'll sit back and be like, oh, yeah, it's not that great or whatever, but it is. But I want you to see beyond that and realize being aware of you
Mm-hmm.
and you're fabulous. That's what I'm saying. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times you'll downplay it, but it's not rare. A lot of times we'll have gifts and talents, and a lot of times we'll be like, oh, this, I'm not that good. I mean, yeah, I do that, but it's not really that good. It's like, no, it is good. But we have a tendency to shut it down by not giving credit.
Mm-hmm.
But again, one of our biggest mistakes as just people in general, human beings and living souls, we have a tendency to downplay what we're great at.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
just what it is. We have a tendency. But when I'm looking at this, I pulled it up because I pulled up my notes from yesterday. I mentioned that you have a tendency to overvalue logic.
Look, that's why. Look, he's so logical.
Miss Carla, let me interrupt you for a second. Y'all keep going. Look, when y'all finish, hit end stream.
Okay.
So that our house won't be bug live. Then click on Instagram and hit end live video.
Okay.
Okay.
You see that Instagram up there? Instagram right there.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Hit end live. When you finish, hit end stream.
Okay.
All right, baby.
All right.
Yeah.
Have a great
Bye,
night.
Javon. Have a good day at work.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so all right.
So I just wanted you to understand that because I don't want you to downplay your gifts and talent. I want you aware of this because I want you to actually start making love to your gifts. Because a lot of times we have a tendency to downplay them, and we do this all the time in our community. We'll just be like, "Oh, it's nothing," and it is. It's something major. So for
You know what?
you, I want you to think about it differently.
During the times like in my 20s and like I said, I'm doing poetry. I'm a business owner, young. I got my own house. I got nice things like in the sense of how I seen it, how I saw myself then. I think was more closer to that. And however, as I became aware of what was around me, the things that I liked, um, the pull from society, just the brainwashing of things that was happening and just going along with it. I didn't like that. So it's kind of like, as I learned that, we call it like shattering the frame and like building these things, these new things back up. And maybe not always seeing the opportunities to use what I'm feeling or coming to know, about myself, not being able to engage in a lot of conversations that I would like to maybe get that validation or being able to, and like now, being at the end of my next, being in my new career, but still haven't graduated yet.
Right.
And so as much good things that I'm doing already as a school teacher and the way I'm maneuvering through it until I totally graduate and get this second, degree, it still be a part of me that just feel like I ain't did it yet, and which takes away from, I understand what you're saying, takes away from so much of the good relationships that I'm building with the students that I work with, and how much we cried to leave each other.
Yeah.
These students, and that I know I've changed their lives. Like I do that regardless what a test say, so.
Yes. And I want to also let you understand, because I know that when you are in goal, you're driven, you're really trying to make sure you succeed and you do it and all of these things. I want you to become present with the fact that the muscle memory, the talents that you already have are already substantial now. So you and who you are as a woman is already phenomenal. Yes, you're obtaining new things and you're gaining new abilities and all of those things. Yes. But let's not shed light on the fact that, yes, you're busy and still getting other things, but you are already achieved as a woman.
Yeah.
And remember, you said, well, I was already a hairstylist and I did this and I bought these things and I got this right. But a lot of times I think you were just like, oh, I've already accomplished that. So that doesn't really matter now. It does, because more young women are looking at you and they're like, man, she really has done some things that she doesn't even really remember, or should we say reflect on being an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
But I want you to go back to that, because that's something that young women, young men find appealing to you. You are attractive because of those things that you oftentimes don't think about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes you're not even thinking that they have a lot of value, but they do, more than you realize. And then it also gives you more excitement about what you've already done. Because a lot of times we're so driven to get accomplished that we're totally disregarding everything we've already done.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, that doesn't matter. It does matter. You're just forgetting it. That's all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
see, I think Javon helps you to remember that, but I just want you to get back to your awareness of it.
See, I think it's because I'm in the house with the master teacher, and so in understanding how, now that I'm a teacher, I'm understanding you don't always go back and say, hey, great job. You know what I'm saying? It's about moving forward and
Right,
self analyzing, so I understand the tactic of the teacher, right? And
right,
like almost like, well, if I'm not saying nothing about that, then you're good on that.
right,
But the part of me that wants the validation wants to hear that more, because he's the logical person and he's the one that I care about
right.
so much, about what he thinks, and am I
Hmm.
measuring that. And that's the first time I've ever felt like that about anybody. I can't tell you like a favorite teacher. I mean, well, until I was older, like 39, back in school, I got a
Wow.
favorite teacher. Like I don't see, but I can see now and understand when you say where I am emotionally. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like when I have them, I've had them, and it's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
Well, when I'm looking here, it your threes are is the reason you're humble, but you're also selfless. So your threes are the reason you're selfless. So your numbers are actually matching your career path.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So everything you're doing is in alignment with what you're doing.
Hmm.
But I'm letting you know that you're humble and you're selfless because of your numbers. Your numbers are threes. And this is the reason why you have that tendency to have that selflessness to you. But that's again the reason why I want you aware of it.
Yeah.
Because when you're more aware of your threes, it's going to help you to be like, oh yeah, this is the reason why I'm moved. This is the reason why I want to hear from Javon that I am matching or doing what I need to do. Because you're wanting to feel moved by your threes to be accentuated, because of course it activates your humble self, your humble side, your selflessness. That's
Hmm.
why. Is
Hmm.
that making sense? This is why your threes are so dynamic. And I told you you're a triple threat. So you got threes all the way earth, your soul, I mean, I'm sorry, your earth, your moon and your sun are all threes. So that's going to automatically have you really wanting to be selfless.
Hmm.
And in your selflessness, it really helps you to create a humble side to you. But I don't want you so humble that you downgrade it, like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. No, it is. So I want you aware, like, no, I'm pretty dynamic as a woman. So you have to give yourself those extra confirmations, like,
Yeah.
I'm still a dynamic woman.
Hmm.
even though it's hard to say
Beautiful,
that.
you're amazing, you're wonderful,
Yes,
you're excellent. Like, yeah.
yes, all
Yeah.
of that. Yes, because I want you aware. I want you constantly aware of that, because I don't want you to ever low grade that part of yourself.
Mhm.
That has to stay strong inside you, because you don't want to pale in comparison to Javon.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is
Mhm.
that giving you what you know where I'm coming from?
I
You don't
know.
want to pale in comparison.
Yeah.
Not even by a short stint,
Mhm.
because you have so much to offer and you're hungry.
Mhm.
See, that's a whole nother energy in you, is that you're hungry, you're really desiring to be successful. And
Mhm.
that's what you've always been, though. So this is nothing new. This is a
Yeah.
part of who you are in your
Yeah.
living soul. It's already a part of you anyway.
Mhm. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Wow. Yep. Wow. Well, it's me. Yep. Did we go through all of them?
I think we
Yeah.
did. And
Yeah. Uh-huh.
like I said, it's so much,
Yeah.
because
It is. But
I think that we really touched on some major things that I wanted to address tonight. I still have a lot of other stuff that we're going to be able to go through and touch on. But the number one thing that I wanted us to talk about is really helping you with your awareness.
awareness. Yeah.
Yes. Because your awareness is going to help you be more, um basically you'll be more, I think, more wide-eyed with your selflessness.
It will fill in the gap for where the emotion is not, because if I'm waiting to be moved by something, right? But it's not moving. If I'm there in the moment and just being present, then
Right.
I can, it'll be a guide of what's happening, I guess.
Right. Well, and that's something that we're able to look at because of the absence of feminine energy. But remember, Javon is loaded with it.
Yes. I'm just laughing about the flip flop of it, but it makes so much sense. And so it just makes so much sense.
I know, but that's why I love you two. I love doing y'all's two's numbers, because nobody would believe it, first of all. Because people always want to assume gender is one thing, and well, everybody's this or whatever. It's like, no. Actually, Javon has no, he doesn't have any masculine energy. So it's kind of unique that you have the dominant is not there, it's not present. So now you and I are laughing like, oh, I am kind of passive. And it's like, okay. But we're able to see how you two actually solidify each other,
Hmm.
how the lack actually was the gain.
Yeah.
And most people don't see it that way, because intimacy is everything but what it should be a lot
Hmm.
of times.
Yeah.
But when he was like, I don't have any any masculine energy, we're like, oh, it's okay. He didn't feel, and remember, he mentioned he didn't feel gay.
Hmm.
And I was like, no, I'm glad you don't. This is just a part of the gender score. And he's like, oh, okay. I feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
And this is giving you the ego validation that you need, so that you're okay with, oh, Carla, I didn't have that comfort there for a while.
Hmm.
And now that we're able to talk about you having the absence of feminine energy, it makes sense. So you don't feel wrong. You know what I'm saying?
It
You
makes
don't feel
sense.
out of sorts.
Because he would ask me like, "Have you ever really been in love?" Like all these things, and I'm like, "Yeah, I've loved people a lot. Like I love everybody I mess with, just like him. But
Right.
when I don't care no more, I don't. I mean, I don't try to cut it off like that. To me,
Right.
when it's over
Right.
or we've run its course, it is truly over. If you remain a circle of friends, like I call it, we
Right.
truly have some type of friendship, and really I'm able to pour into you. Like when I'm with you, you allow me to to share that side of me, and I like that, and it's bigger than sex. So
Yes.
we kindle through, and maybe some type of intimacy, but the whole thing is that we get to talk about, have deep conversations, and I get to be a manifestation station for you. Like, so it's so many
Right.
things in my way of how I've been with people just throughout my life. So I truly get it. But it makes me feel good to know that, and I really wanted us to be able to come out of this and understand that we are not just well, I know he has, like, that emotional intelligence, like he very much aware, right? But for me, I wanted to be like, oh, okay, now I understand. It's not nothing like, it's not that I don't want to be this way.
Right. Your living
I
soul
let
makeup. It's your design. It's
it's
who you
my
are.
yeah.
Yes. And what I love about it is we don't have to change it. We don't have to.
Mhm.
Let's learn it. Because again, when we learn about ourselves, we learn so much about, oh my God, so many people think women are one way. They don't realize how powerful we are as protectors. They don't know.
Mhm.
They have no idea. It's not a very big, it's not what I would say, it's not a lot of manifested protective women out here in the realm like it was when we were young.
Mhm.
It's not heard of that much that a woman is protecting the family. That's not common. So I'm just glad that there's another person out here that has that attribute, because again, we're not heard of.
Let me ask you this. So now that I'm going through menopause,
Yes.
how do you think that is going to affect? What I mean by that is I don't have nature to even give me any extra push when it comes to the emotion, the way I kind of would, you know, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but like I was telling you, I said, yesterday I was driving home and I just felt like I was going to cry. I said, but I'm happy. I said, but my face just felt, when you about to cry, your nose start to feel burning in your eyes. And I was like,
Right.
I don't know why I'm feeling like that. So when I just asked you that, the flip side of that is maybe because I'm not overly like that anyway, it's going to be
Right.
just fine, because what
Right.
people will feel like highly maybe depleted from, it's kind of like
Well, for you, I think what we should do is, rather than trying to define it without really having an experience of it, let's allow it to be.
look, I just did it.
You know what I'm saying? Let's
Yeah.
allow it to go into an absence of an unknown without trying to make it be what we want it to be.
Okay.
And in that, let's learn together, because you and I both are we're both going hitting menopause. Okay, so we're both in that same realm together.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, you have 0 out of 4
Yeah.
feminine energy. But if we can pay attention to what it feels like, and you can actually explain it to me, we can learn together how we can actually elevate it and balance it out.
Mm-hmm.
We have to learn together in ignorance of it, because this is the first time having this happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's just come to know. We
Okay.
don't have to be perfect. We can learn and learn as we go, like, oh,
Yeah.
this is different.
Yeah. Like if I want to cry, then just cry about it.
Just cry.
Just
Yes.
realize
Feel it.
how it
Yes.
feels. Yeah. To tell me
Because we
nothing wrong
don't
with me.
know.
Happy. Why am I crying? Don't cry. Okay.
We don't know. And
Yeah.
and I think that the unknown of self really helps us to learn more about self. This helps us to fall in love with self.
Mm-hmm.
See, remember, if you can remember, we learned to love men
Mm-hmm.
just because we were in this obsession of wanting a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to learn, how do we love them? How do we take care of them? What do we learn? All of that stuff. but
Mhm.
we really never learned. Well, we don't have any. You don't have energy. How do we go through this with menopause? Well, I don't know, and you don't know either. So we're gonna have to learn together.
Yeah.
This is the kind of support you want to talk about. The manifestation station. This is the kind of support we help each other with
Mhm.
because we don't know.
Yeah.
But as we learn, you can be like, man, I cried for 3 hours. Or you can be like, I cried for just a couple minutes and I was okay. But
Or
this way we're learning.
yeah. Or get to see even again the part of what's societal. Like, do I feel like I should be losing something? Like just the different dynamics. I mean, I understand that it's hormonal
Right,
in aspects. And you
right.
even when you talked about on the when y'all had the show about intimacy with your eyes open versus closed, and me thinking about when I was able to do that when I wasn't, but now how I'm like, if I can't do that with my eyes open, I don't want it,
Mm, right,
because I'm not in a fairy tale world that I need to close my eyes and be whisked away somewhere, right? Because
right, right,
in those moments, I do want to be present. Like I do want to be present, okay? Because that's how.
right.
And so, and not needing the fairy tale in order to get a rise out of myself. I know how to give myself exactly what I need,
Right.
to ask for it and be able to deny what I don't. Like this me. I done came a long way to be able to tell you I'm not gonna do it if it ain't this way. But
And
give
all
all of myself when I need to. You know what I'm saying?
and also with your elements, you have air and fire elements that will help with your menopausal changes also. So your elements we will go over as well. We
Okay.
didn't go through a lot of them, but you have fire elements and you have air elements that will help you through your menopausal changes, which will definitely help with a natural motivation. So now you won't feel like, oh, I have to do it because I'm in
Yeah,
lack.
yeah, 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 yeah.
It just
That's what I'm
means it,
saying.
it just means that no, this is a part of you that you already have.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be able to take your elements and be like, okay, so we already know you got air. We already know you got fire. So this is a great time when you are feeling a little going through your changes, or you're feeling like, man, I'm down today or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
being okay with your emotional changes.
Mm-hmm.
But just don't become I would say a prisoner of them.
Yeah.
Because we can find ourselves in a mess of different things of, I'm just menopausal. Like, it might not be that. You might just be
That's what I was.
emotional.
Yeah, yeah. You just might be emotional.
It might be emotional. Yeah, we might have our
Yeah.
stuff, but it just might be stuff. So yeah, so I wanted to let you know that sometimes it could be your elements too, because your elements go through changes. So you and I will go through your changes. I don't know if you saw me go through elements with Javon, but we have air elements, we have water element, we have fire, we have metal, and we have earth wood element.
Oh wow.
So all of those elements also impact. So like the earth wood is our grounding, how we feel about certain things and if we're grounded or not. Our fire element, how passionate we are. So all of those elements are also a part of the living soul that we'll go over.
So that's
Um,
already everything you've done. Or you that's as you keep going on. Like,
yes, as we keep going. Yes,
okay. So a person usually breaks this up in sessions.
yes,
Obviously, okay.
yeah.
And
We have
how long does a session, like for those that's watching, how long does that? What does that look like? Like,
so
what
for
would you say to me? Come back. We talk
yeah.
about
Well,
how does that work?
usually I do 75 minutes, but you and I we were talking and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
But 75 minutes I can get usually a good source of understanding your archetypes. That's the first part. So your profile, your archetypes, your earth, moon, sun, living soul archetype. That is usually a good 75 minutes easy. Then next, we work on your elements. So we know, well, what element do we need to work on? What is the most passionate? What's the most metal that she is? She's having a lot of metal going on. Is it a lot of frustration with her wood? What's going on with her? We can go through your elements and we can actually look at it like I did with Javon, and we
Mhm.
can go through that. That's usually 75 minutes also. But
Mhm.
these are, but we also, but if you're a Patreon member, you actually get the actual, I actually do soul elements by the week. So it just being a living soul person on my page on Patreon,
Mhm.
you'll get an actual understanding of the soul elements for the week.
Okay. And how much is the being a member of Patreon?
For the you asked me for the living soul. It's I think it's if I'm not mistaken, I think it's $15 a month,
Okay.
and you can just be and then you get all the elements. You also get non-favorable days, so
Okay.
you'll also learn like, ooh, those days aren't too good. Let's let's pay attention to those dates.
Mhm.
Why? Because sometimes in the elements, again, we
Mhm.
need to know what elements are going to be moving for us and which ones aren't too good for us.
Okay.
So we have a lot of different things we got. So yeah. And then you can also be a living soul member also just by doing the actual like I said, the actual readings, and those vary in price also. So again, there's just a lot of different ones, but yeah.
Okay. It's like an a la carte.
Mhm.
So wow. What the numbers show. That's wow.
Yeah, they are powerful. Matter of fact, like I told you, we can even look at when you're ready to do your manifestation station. We can look at what numbers are good for you, what season. We can even do your season numbers, like spring, summer, winter. Do you find that you're more manifesting, and are you more in a better solid manifestation era in the summer or in the winter? Or we can actually pull those numbers too.
Yeah, that'll help me because I think I say, um, because I'm the total woman and it's like everything I've wanted has been given to me, in the sense of up
Yeah,
until the point, meaning, how I see motherhood and being a wife and,
yeah,
and in a career. And so I'm dipping and dabbing in every single thing. I'm not saying they're all great. I'm just saying
right.
it has me spread really thin.
It does.
And
Right. And you're doing the podcast like I am. So I'm
in the podcast, yep, yep. And then we're doing the music,
yes,
like that.
yes.
And wanting to make enough time for it and give it all equally, all I got. Because of course I want to be my best in
I
what I'm.
know.
So, uh, yeah, it's just good to understand where to do it.
Yes,
But if I'm coming out of it, the main thing is to be present
yes.
and be in
I
my.
want
Mhm.
you to be present and remember awareness, and remember that you can just pinch yourself to make sure you're aware, and are you here right now?
Mhm.
And that will help you to build your mental memory for now.
Mhm.
And then you won't feel as though you're forgetting so much
Mhm.
because you'll be more present.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it.
I like it too.
I
I like it too.
thank you so much. It's gonna be funny because I know you say like that. Me and Jay, I see how we match, but just like really sitting down and seeing like, wow. So this is why this, and I'm not all emotional and stuff. So of course I would be able to be like, oh, we gonna be open.
Hmm.
Okay, or if just why be jealous? Because I know I want to be with you. I know I'm not going away. All right, let me
Correct.
work my way through those things. So just seeing how I understanding. Okay, you're not just going with his flow. This your flow. This how you see it. This what you want.
Yep.
So yeah, I know I'm going back and say
Well, and let me just say this too about your the way you came to becoming open was powerful in and of itself as well, because you came into openness with understanding. Firstly, what is this for me to understand first before I just sign up? Because again, you and I are protective women. So, with that said, there's certain things about us that we have to have understood in that type of setup.
What I understood to that point is that I had cheated on everybody that I had been with. So I understood that monogamy, I wanted to be monogamous.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was going to last,
Right,
I wanted to be, but
right.
I've been somebody, I've been a side chick. I've been the one you saying, shh, don't say nothing, right?
Yep, yep.
I've not usually been the one that mess with my female's friend, like I
Right,
want somebody's guy, right? That's a
right,
friend of mine, right? But
right.
I understand I've been in the situations where their guy may have been looking at you, get what I'm saying, and that you kind of shit me a little bit just cause. But
Right.
so I was going somewhere with it. I forgot.
No, but
Oh, no,
what
that's
you're
that
saying
person.
is
That's
you
that
had
person. I started thinking back. It did.
but you remember you were going through different variations of understanding self.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's always the case with us. And so we have to know, we have to be really crystal clear, because what we're not going to do well is, especially if we're clear about the fact that we want to understand definition, we want to know, okay, what are we doing and how's this going to work? And am I okay? Again, you mentioned something that you said, hey, I was having an issue with, these different variations in monogamy.
Mm-hmm.
So why am I going to keep doing it when I know I have issue with it?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the alternative? Well, maybe I need to open this up and stop saying this is a violation, and
Mm-hmm.
see if love can still be present.
And that's exactly what has happened.
Change the game.
Tell everybody, if you let that childish way of thinking go, man, that's when
Change the game.
it start.
Right. Because you're not constantly um
Caught up in a hysteria.
it's maniac. It's just
Yeah.
mania and crazy. But
Mm-hmm.
once we get to the point of, you know what, let's flow and see what happens. Let's evolve and see where it comes to.
Mm-hmm. And you wake up the next day, you still smiling, and y'all still laughing and joking, and y'all haven't missed a beat. And then you've been scared for nothing.
That's it. That's it. And you're like, this was such a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're starting to realize, okay, so now I can be more present,
Mm-hmm.
because now I'm not holding on to what I want us to become.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm here in what we are, and
Mm-hmm.
now we can grow. That's
Mm-hmm.
a whole different understanding of how love can be. Changes the game.
And to have the opportunity to do that where people break up, and work through all these moments, all these shifts together, all these seasons together. I loved yesterday when you was talking about practicing or performing, and I was like, there are times when I've had to practice and there are times when I have performed. It depends on what season that I
Yeah.
have been in a relationship, and understood that's what I was, doing for what I want,
Right.
which is to maintain. I think that people always see that women are doing stuff for men. No, I want this. I signed on for it. I'm not trying to lose at it,
Right.
So I'm
Exactly.
doing what is necessary.
And
Uh,
it's really been really enjoyable to watch, because you and he don't have this fakeness to it.
mm-hmm,
You're real upfront with where you're at.
mm-hmm,
And But a lot of times I'll see people trying to mold and shape into it, but they're not there yet. You see what I'm saying? It's like you guys still have a long way to go.
Well, you know what? I during certain times, I think like especially I don't know if you've gone. I know you've gone back and looked at some of the Bears and Bubbles. So there were those moments when I wanted to, and that's probably why people came because I wasn't there yet, and I got up every day and was transparent about it. I don't know if
Good.
I always knew how far off I was, but everybody
Right.
got to everybody got to see it, and
Yes.
they appreciated that transparency that that I let us have on screen. So
And remember I said that's not easy for you. That's not an easy that's not an easy place for you.
yeah,
You can do it, but it takes a lot for you to come to that. But once you do, you're a beast with it.
like at first I wasn't the person that would be on social media like with him, and then he's
Yeah.
like, hey, but then I like to be in the show. Like I like to
Yes.
offer something different than what I think people don't get. And
Yes.
the part of him that likes like Javon being very truthful, I'm like, well, if you don't have enough women being accountable, I will be the person that models that, or try my best to, so that people can see that we can do it, work through it, and
Yes.
and because I don't think we've seen enough of it. One more, this the last thing I wanted to say made me think about.
Okay.
So in the beginning of our relationship, I used to always be like, when we needed to talk, I used to be like, I'm emotional. I just want to be rational first. We have, the conversation.
Right.
So would that have been probably because I don't have that emotional reader, right? But now I'm
Right.
getting somebody that's sparking a lot in me that I have not ever felt
Right.
for.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what is happening and how to respond. I'm not really sure
Right.
about what I'm feeling and what feelings I'm trying to hold on to. I'm not ready to be so vulnerable. What is this that is happening?
Right. And that, my love, is the part I want you to get present with.
Okay.
You don't have to define it. That's what I'm telling you. It doesn't have to be perfect. You
Mm-hmm.
can be awkward in it. It can feel like what you know how we used to watch back in the day where girls were kind of nerdy and they didn't know what they were doing. You
Mm-hmm.
can be that in your feelings because it's not something that you are accustomed to. Be okay in the awkwardness and be
Mm-hmm.
like, I feel a little strange with this. I don't know what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Because what that does is that's going to make Javon fall deeper in love with you because of the awkwardness, but the openness about the awkwardness.
Mm-hmm.
And then you learning from the awkwardness and then understanding, oh, this is where I'm at. Now I can learn to do this, 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 and this. And now I'm learning about me.
Okay.
Now so it actually takes you through it without feeling like, oh, I'm so weird. No, you're not. You're just learning yourself. That's the fun part.
He said to me, I was telling him about the crying in the, like I felt like I wanted to cry in the car, but I was telling him by way of telling him, I told this older lady,
Yeah.
that went through menopause about that. And he
Right.
was like, when you feel like that, I was like, yes. And he was like, why didn't you tell me that?
Yeah.
And I was like, I
It's a little
mean, I
different. A
work
little
in
awkward.
menopause. I didn't want to, so when you just said that, it made me think about that. And look, him and his feminine energy. It's like, why would, like, rather his concern, rather he would have helped me through it, like just saying, just let me know that. And I was like, well,
Right.
my thing, I'm working it out. I mean, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
now, and I didn't see that, but I see now why I would hold on to those things. And so with being and allowing, okay.
Yeah. Because this is what helps you to evolve. This is what's going to help him fall in because our love changes. So always remember, nothing remains the same. We're always going to change. We're always going to be different, and the love is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start to understand something about you,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to fall in love with you, and then he's going to learn to fall in love with the new version of you, because
Mm-hmm.
this is all new.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't just die. We learn different versions of self. And in that learning of self, we start to feel like, oh, now I'm getting a little more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can talk about this. I didn't even know what it was. And then it helps other women to be open about, oh my God, yeah, I had that happen too. You know what I'm saying? So that will help to bring your manifestation station even more pertinent,
Okay.
because it's going to help you to be able to be like, oh yeah, well, I had this happen and I didn't know this was going to be a part of it, but guess what?
Yeah.
Here's a new thing that I didn't know was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's going to help you to be even more excited about it,
Okay. All right.
because
I like
you're
it.
already excited. So
I'm
it's just
already.
going to, yeah, it's
I'm
just going to make
already. Yeah.
it's just going to make it easier.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really going to help you to learn more about you. And
Mm-hmm.
this is how we fall in love with self. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times we don't talk about this part because it's never highlighted for us to get sexy on loving self.
Yeah.
But when we're starting to learn it, it's like, oh, okay, I can flirt with me a little bit. Oh, okay, I can see where I was a little bit hesitant. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to say anything right then and there, but I did speak on it, and so it's giving you time to actually learn about you.
Mm-hmm.
Just building memory muscle
Yeah.
in your spirit too.
Okay. Yeah. I like it. I understand.
So,
So I thank you so much. I
oh, you're welcome.
um keep expounding on it and
We will. Trust
really
me.
tell me how to work it all out so we could finish talking. I can't wait to get to Crystal.
Crystals. Crystals is going to be fun because I haven't even done my grandsons yet. So I'm excited to learn crystals. That's going to be fun too. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, we're going to have so much fun with that because I love the fact that she's going to have so much of you, because you guys resemble so much. You guys resemble so much. So when I saw her face is like as your face, it's just so super cute.
To be purposeful, but like not just putting myself on like only on her, but just knowing where she's supposed to go, like
Right.
what path, these suggestions. Oh, it's going
Yeah.
like I'm yeah,
Well,
I'm
it's so
excited about
fun
it.
because I think that a lot of times our babies fall through the cracks because no one really, really realizes the power of them
Hmm.
or their purpose, because
Yeah.
people are so caught up in whatever their hiccups are about it. But
Hmm.
once you and I sit down and we start to see all the gifts that we know she has,
Hmm.
then you and I get to talk about it, and then we're like, oh, this is why she's this, and this, and then Javon's gonna interject. It'll make it so much easier for us to be like, oh my gosh, this is making more sense. And her purpose is gonna just be astounding.
Yeah. Most of the children that I work with in special education are artists, and I always say that I want to run have a school like where we're mixing art and curriculum together, kind of like Montessori,
Yes,
but still all art based. Like if we making writing songs together, if,
yes,
based on words that
yes,
stay standard words, and we turning them into songs, and those songs could be turned into videos, but it's all what's the cross category mean? I think I'm saying it right, but meaning that if we learning about it in English, we learning about it and how it relates to math, we learning about that same concept in
yes,
science, and like it all connects. And so for the students that have a problem holding
yes,
information, staying in there now and stuff like that,
yes,
they get
yes.
multiple opportunities to learn it and it be engaging through the thing that we all like, which is art, right?
Art,
Entertainment.
absolutely. Yes. And what's so deep that you just mentioned about art is that our babies that we have, they're usually really good with art and beyond words. And my grandson, he likes to listen to The Incredibles in, I think, either German or Spanish, one of the foreign languages. And I just let him go with it. And I said, well, I'm just going to have to learn it because I don't know. I won't know what he's saying, but you just never know because they like certain things. Like,
yeah.
they
Crystal
have,
likes about the first 20 minutes of a certain episode. It's about an hour and 20 minutes. And by the time we get to actually 17 minutes, when
see,
she's there, she call out for me and I go in there and it's at the same spot.
see, it's like unbelievable.
Like
It's like I told Javon, I'm like, I don't know if you know it or not, but I have a special baby too. So it's just funny how this all interacted, and then you wanted to do this. I thought that's perfect because I can learn from yours, from Crystal's, because I love to see what hers is going to show us. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Okay, look, we on the live like it's like we on the telephone.
I know.
All right.
Well,
But
listen, good night. And like I said, I'll give you all that you need. And we'll stay in touch. Of
okay,
course.
and I know Jamon will match you with Coley and I guess anyone else that is up here. Did you put your information up?
I think I might have I will do that for everyone so everybody can see it.
Mhm.
I will put it in there so people can get a reading. There we go. My link is right there.
Well, oh, there. Let me see. Here we go. Okay. All right.
I put it in I
Okay.
put, I put it in the chat. Did you see it?
No, but I don't know how to do none of that.
Oh,
Like, I don't know if it pop up or what.
let me see. It says it's in the chat. So if you guys can see it in the chat, but I'll also share it later too.
Okay. All right. Well, again, it's been wonderful. I can't wait for more things that's in store.
Yes, me too.
About it all when it feel right, it feel right.
Listen, I'm telling you. Well, listen, kiss the baby for me.
All
We
right.
will talk soon.
Okay. Have a
Talk
good
to you later,
have
babe.
a good night. All right. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. You're welcome. Good night.
Good night. Thank you all for watching.